about Will Levis, man, a guy who I wasn't very high on coming out of the NFL draft. I thought his throws were just kind of lazy. They were a little airy. I didn't like the form, and just overall his game was not standing out to me like some of these other prospects that were in. But Will Levis kind of seems to have arrived. We saw the first game against the Falcons, of course. Everyone was raving about him. Then we see the second game against the Steelers, which was much less from him. No touchdowns, 1 interceptions, and a loss. He almost threw 2 picks versus the first game against the Falcons, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And he got the W at home wearing the sick-ass Houston Oilers uniforms. I absolutely love that for him. So from just 2 games, man, do you think the Titans have finally got their quarterback or the future, or is it at least enough for them to show that he's got some promise?
I will say he's shown enough that he should be the starter for the rest of the season, regardless of Ryan Tannehill's health.
Yeah.
Like, like you're not playing for a Super Bowl here, so like there's no reason to continue trotting out Ryan Tannehill up there. Like you have to see what you have. We know Malik Willis is not it right now. Like we've seen that for 2 seasons. This is not it. I'm not in favor of the fans booing him, but yeah, like he's not it. I wanted to pump the brakes on the love of Will Levis after the, beating the Falcons because at the end of the day, it is the Falcons. And for as decent as defense may be, like they have the second fewest sacks, I think. They don't get after the quarterback, and they have the second fewest interceptions. So it's not like they're forcing people into mistakes. So like I wanted to, and you're playing at home, Houston Oilers jersey, so you had a lot of
Right.
emotion
Just
right in
it
it,
all lined up for him. Felt like the swag was right
everything.
there.
So I said I was going to judge him last night on the Steelers game, and what I saw was a very solid performance, a very encouraging performance.
Right.
And this is where I tell everyone coaching matters so much.
Yeah.
So Mike Vrabel is such a great coach, right? What he did was he put him in a lot of run heavy formations, right? Had a lot of max protects in that. So everything that was coming, a lot of it was coming out of play action. And, they're punching or they're shoving Derrick Henry down your throat. So they're making the throws a lot easier for him, and you're just not going 5 wide with limited protection and asking him to make a lot of checks out the line. And I thought if this is the game plan that they're going to have, if this is a steady progression that you're going to see, Will Levis has a very high chance to succeed in Tennessee. Like you're not throwing him at the wolves, you're not throwing a lot at him. And what I saw against a very, very good defense, like I know he got sacked 4 times, but when you're playing Alex Hightower and you're playing TJ Watt in front of you, and for you to only have the 1 interception, you still had a good game. Like,
Percent in that secondary.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I was encouraged by what I saw. I'm not going to go right out there and say, oh my gosh, this is the next star. Tennessee's got their man. But
Yeah.
if I'm Mike Vrabel, I like what I see so far, and I'm going to like give him the rest of the season to figure out what I have. But so far, so good for me. And like you said, when everyone was touting Will Levis, I was one who didn't have him as a first round pick either. So I was
Nope.
like, oh yeah, I'll pump the brakes there, but Tennessee may have their man.
Yeah. They very well may. And, you see Will Levis in these couple of games. That the biggest thing that stands out to me is he just looks so confident. He looks like he's already played 6, 7, 8 NFL games before. And that could be a testament to him coming out of the SEC. And, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel bad for not giving him that benefit because I'll turn right around and say that, that's why Bo Nix is able to play so well at Oregon. And that's why I trust him a good bit coming up in this college class is because he played at Auburn. He saw Georgia. He saw Florida. He saw Mizzou. He saw South Carolina. He saw SEC competition. And it's no surprise that once he leaps from the SEC and goes to the Pac-12 at Oregon, that he's in the Heisman conversation. He's going to be a first-round pick. And Bo Nix is absolutely great. Sticking with Will Levis, though, that could be an attribute as to why, he's played decent, great in the first game, and then decent, it was last night against the Steelers. I was trying to think
Yeah.
for a second. But, you see the first game against the Falcons. Again, everyone's raving about him. 4 touchdowns, no picks, gets the W. I thought he stood in the pocket very confidently, made throws even when he was blitzed or in a muddy pocket. And the early drop from Traylon Burks even was a very nice throw. I want to send some prayers up for Traylon Burks as well. We see him get knocked out. Of course, in the game against the Steelers, he has to be taken off the field. He had another late throw on the down on the left sideline as well to Traylon Burks. But, very poised on most of his throws. Had that connection with D-Hop, clearly a gorgeous first touchdown bomb to him in the game where he throws 3 touchdowns to DeAndre Hopkins, 4 in total on the day. And he really showed off his arm, nice tight throws, some good screen passes. And again, my knock on him was his lazy form, floating his throw too much. It just didn't seem like a fluid game for a first-round quarterback coming out of the SEC to come into the NFL and really perform at a high level. He just wasn't hesitating to let it go, in the Falcons game. Only one turnover worthy throw, which was that dropped interception, and he only took one bad sack as well. And I just thought it was really impressive debut against a Falcons team who was top 5 in defense in terms of yards per game. I want to say at the time they were third. Now they've dropped to the sixth. Then you turn around. Now he's on the road, out of the Swagger uniforms, up against a very smash mouth defense. Mike Tomlin, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Minka, Patrick Peterson, all those names that we were just putting out there. And the second game against the Steelers, was of course much less from him. He was definitely tested. He threw one interception, no scores, took the loss, almost threw two more picks, and then finally with the third turnover worthy throw in terms of the interception, they do snag it from him. But they had pressure on him all night, and I think that was the big thing that the Steelers possibly picked up on from the Falcons was, hey, and that was the thing about Atlanta too, is Atlanta was putting pressure on Will Levis, and Will Levis was hanging in there. He was confident, was making the throw. So Mike Tomlin said, okay, I'm really going to see if he's able to do that. Defensive coordinator said, okay, we're really going to dial up that pressure on him. And we saw time in and time out that his form was declining some, a lot more miscues and inaccuracy with the pressure on him coming from Pittsburgh. He almost threw those two interceptions late in the game, which wasn't pretty. Of course, he throws the game-sealing interception to Pittsburgh, and that does end the game. They end up getting out of there with the loss. But the fact that he was driving down for the win on the road against that defense, pretty
That's what I'm telling
impressive.
you.
You have to take some positives away from that. We're 2 games in. Of course, we're being prisoners of the moment, maybe some bias, a little overreacting, but I was impressed with Will Levis because what I saw in the preseason debut, what I saw in preseason in general, knowing that, how I felt about him coming out of the draft, and now he's performing like this in his first 2 games, I have to give the guy credit. No doubt about it. He did take that final sack, or the final sack that he did take in the game against Pittsburgh. That showed, guy was right in front of his face. He's really just got to improve his pocket presence, be aware of the rushers around him, and he wasn't as decisive against Pittsburgh as he was against Atlanta. He missed a wide open touchdown pass to DeAndre Hopkins across the middle of the end zone. So he had some more to be desired. He had some things to be, some things to improve on. I see that I put the second question on here, but it's really the same as the first. So overall, we talked about the Titans possibly getting their guy of the future. From what you saw from Will Levis, were you satisfied with the first 2 games, or do you feel like there's more to be desired based off of what you
No,
went up against?
I'm satisfied simply because that you mentioned it. Like, I'll throw up the Atlanta game again. Like, as much as the performance, everyone thinks the performance against Atlanta was better than this. I always thought that Thursday night in Pittsburgh was going to be barometer for me, right? Like, no, you're on the road against a veteran Pittsburgh defense, against Mike Tomlin, and as much as you said that he had a chance to have multiple, interceptions, the game sealing sack, and all that, this
Yep.
is a rookie. This is a rookie making
Yeah, rookie second
his
round pick.
a rookie second round pick making his second NFL start and first on the road. And your first NFL road game is in Pittsburgh of all places. That you couldn't have asked for a worse place. And still, as you said, that he's driving Tennessee with a chance to win. Like, you have to come away feeling good about it. And I'm not here going to be a prisoner of the moment, as you said, and crown him as Tennessee star of the future. But I am turning this over. Like, sorry, Ryan Tannehill. Like, this is the end. Like, I've got to see what I have in Will Levis. And for what I see, like, Mike Vrabel has to be smiling ear to ear.
Gotta be.
He's just like, I am enthused with what I saw. Like, it could have been way, way, way worse. And it wasn't like, I don't want to come right out and say, like the kid, but I like the kid.
Yeah, he does look very solid, man. He looks very solid without a question. I'm satisfied as well. Now, I'm just gonna pull up the Titans schedule real quick because I want to see the outlook. So they got the Bucks. It's gonna be a tough defense. They got the Jags. It's gonna be a tough defense. Both those are on the road. They have the Panthers at home. They have the Colts at home. They're gonna go play the Dolphins on the road. They're gonna play the Texans at home. Seahawks at home, on the road against the Texans again, or on the road against the Texans, and then they're going to host the Jags. So, looking through this schedule, I mean, I feel okay about them against the Bucks, Colts, and Panthers, but I feel like everywhere else, Seahawks, Titans, Texans twice, Jags twice, that's going to be a little tough. And knowing that, I want to make sure I have the record correct before I just say it. Knowing that they are a 3-5 football team. Bless you if you just sneezed. I wasn't sure if that's what that was.
Yeah, it was.
But being a 3-5 football team, like they could possibly only have 6 to 7 wins coming out of the year, which was better than what I thought. Uh, I had the Titans winning like 3 to 5 football games coming into the year. I didn't know if Will Levis was really going to get any playing time, but I had to give that respect to Mike Vrabel. So I'm happy for Titans fans. I'm happy for Will Levis. I hope he's a hit because he was pretty fun to watch in both of these games. And him overall playing the way he did, I mean, so poised, so confident. Yes, he was a little more hesitant to let it go in the Pittsburgh game, but you're on the road. You're against a historically legendary culture of a defense and just the defense in general. So it's definitely going to be exciting to see what Will Levis has for us going forward.